program brought to you by Bunnings Warehouse, where lowest prices are just the beginning. And Harvey Norman, there's a store near you.
Spectacular start, still going. Whoa, what about that one? There's no way to stop him. He's straight through. We've just seen magic.
It's the Bulldogs and the Sea Eagles on Fox Sports.
In the first game of 2009, here's the Bulldogs lineup, which includes 7 new players to the club. Luke Patton returns from back injury. He's their fullback. Josh Morris is there, so is Bryson Goodwin, Brett Kimmorley, Ben Hannans and Mike Lennis come from the Broncos to the Bulldogs, and Michael Hodgins in the front row. David Stagg, the lock forward, also a new boy. The bench is Tamari, Armit, Kite and Barber. Their coach on debut also is Kevin Moore. The Sea Eagles have had a trying week. Michael Robertson takes the place of Brett Stewart. Michael Barney comes onto the wing to replace him. Jason King takes the place of Josh Perry in the front row, and their bench is Lestrange, Cuthbertson, Rodney and Rose. The coach is Des Hasler. Ben Cummins and Brett Sutter are our referees as we move the 2 referees full-time in this new season. Ben Cummins in control to get things underway. Ben Roberts supplies the kick-off with a bit of a smoke haze over the ground from the fireworks. And the Sea Eagles will work it away from their own line through Jason King. Gets a chance in the starting lineup with Josh Perry out of the side through injury. Here's Anthony Watmow, a big fend straight away on Brett Kimmorley. A halfback defending on that right-hand side of the field. Ben Roberts in his customary left side position. Glenn Hall, one of a number of Sea Eagles off contract in 2009 as Brent Kite takes it up towards the 40-metre line. Ballon from dummy half will kick from inside the 40, not a bad kick either, down towards the corner, a bit of backspin when he didn't want it, and they'll work it away from their own end here through Bryson Goodwin for the Bulldogs. He scored a terrific try at a game for the Sharks against the Dragons here, which led directly to the Sharks winning in golden point time right here at ANZ Stadium last season. The Bulldogs are hoping for something like that here tonight or throughout 2009. Here's Ben Hannans. Quite a story about him this week we'll share with you in a moment as Ennis goes from dummy half. He gives it off to Hodgson, who takes it up to the 40, grabbed there by Ballon, Stewart and also Kite. Ennis chipping from outside the 40-metre line. It goes down towards Michael Robertson, who has a bit of experience at fullback. He played there for Scotland in the World Cup last year.
Good chase there by the Bulldogs. They look to be on their game early, trying to get off their line. Interesting to note, with the conditions changing, how important the kicking games will be. And both teams elected to go with their number 2 kickers for the first kick of the game.
Andrew Suniula, the 26-year-old American Samoan, playing the ball, getting his first carry in the NRL. Here's King playing it to Stewart, back on this short side as they try and stack some numbers. Bailey on this right-hand side with Jamie Lyon outside him. His Orford kicks from just outside the 40. Luke Patton. They missed him badly in 2008. It made too much of a difference though given for the season. He gave an awkward ball there for El Masri. I don't know that Hassan was expecting it. I guess you always have to be, but it was an awkward one from the fullback and Hassan put it down.
Well, Patton could be a little bit rusty. He only played 7 games last season there, looking to bring El Masri back on the inside.
Hearing your name.
Bit of a nervous start there by the Bulldogs. But Manly, what a wonderful opportunity early in the game. Attacking from a set start, 30 metres out.
Hold out.
Now Orford from the scrum win. They work it away through Jamie Lyon. He'll play it just outside the Bulldogs 20. Goes to Glenn Stewart, who work it forward for a hit up. Suniula on his outside. He's cut down about 18 away, and a good tackle there by Goodwin. Here is Suniula. He said American Samoan, spotted by Sea Eagles talent scout Noel Cleal a couple of years ago, playing rugby in New Zealand. Here's Orford, second man ball. It goes away to Robertson. Double pumps it, gives it off to Michael Barney, who was a regular first grader to begin last season before losing his spot to David Williams. And We know the rest there. Williams ended up playing for Australia. Last play. In this set of 6, Ballon from dummy half. He goes to Warford under pressure. Ennis got up quickly, put a good bump on him. Patton got there though to shovel it over the dead ball line. Lyon was coming quickly, but Patton won the race.
Great kick there by Matty Orford. He's had his critics with his kicking game. And there you can see 5th tackle option was a beautiful one. Jamie Lyon coming through, Patton knocking the ball dead, taking no risk. The bench, they're clapping.
You mentioned Matt Orford. He did have his issues, of course, with his kicking, especially his attacking kicking at times. Mid-season, I guess, last season, but he certainly worked it out in their run to the premiership. Suniula, a good catch up against the sideline for King to bump it back towards the Dogs. And they've stood firm so far. Ballon coming from dummy half, giving it off to Hall. Good run as well. What a bust-down season he had in his career, Glenn Hall. Tremendous 2008 from him. Here's Pite taking it up, stopped there by Hodgson. He'll play it right in front of the uprights, 10 metres away. Ballon showing it a couple of times, giving it back on the inside there for Glenn Stewart. Well picked off though, and a tackle by Andrew Ryan. Ballon goes wide to Warford. He showed it off the toe there of Brett Kimmorley from the Orford grubber. Watmo flops it over the top to make the tackle. Good work though by the new Bulldogs halfback.
Just stuck his leg out there, Brett Kimmorley, and then was able to dive on the football. He's a great competitor, and you would think that this Bulldogs side this season will be very competitive because of that. He'll demand that from his players.
A few tackles gone here in this set of 6, and they're still inside their own 20 as they go forward. Kimmorley, little tip on play for Andrew Ryan. Last play here, they'll be kicking from deep inside their own territory. Ben Roberts with the left boot off the back there of Chris Bailey. Not played at. Last play, and luckily Kimmorley is back behind the line and got a pass from Luke Patton. Well handled by Michael Barney. But the 2 referees, and not for the first time this weekend, combined to rule the kicker was hit after the event. And it was the assist referee floating behind the attacking line who made the call and advised the control referee of it.
Well, it happened in last night's Melbourne Storm Dragons game. But here come the Bulldogs on the attack through Ben Hannant.
Ben Hannant, good effort to be playing in this game. During the week, he spent days in hospital, making 2 trips there on an IV drip after being bitten by a spider on his left foot while mowing the grass in his thongs. I think they'll ban him from mowing the grass in his thongs from now on. Ennis from dummy half. Oh, good ball across to David Stagg. They raced out of the line and stopped the lock forward Cole. Here's Kimmorley in behind them. Idris straightening. Going to Jamal Idris. He just kept coming and knocking them down. And the 18-year-old Goliath puts the Bulldogs on the board first. 4 points to 0. What a run.
He's got plenty of potential, Idris. He only played 3 games last season. He played in the dream team at the end of the year. He's a former world-ranked athletics champion. And there you can see the late hit. And off the back of that, the Bulldogs work it downfield. He's just big and powerful, Idris. He's 106 kilo. He'd have to be 6'3". And it's a second-man play. And bang, he goes through Orford and then pushes away Michael Robertson. And that's a tremendous start from the Bulldogs.
Hazanel Masri adds the 2. He gets closer to Andrew Johns immediately. A good strike. And the Dogs in front against the Premiers. 6 points to 0 as the rain gets heavy.
Well, now, here you go again. Just Brett Kimmorley. Just a second-man play, Idris. And that's what the big fellas do. They target the little defenders on the edge. You can see the rain coming down. It starts to really put pressure now on the kicking games of both sides.
It really is coming down on a 6-0 lead early on. It'll be handy for the Dogs if it is a low-scoring game here tonight. Here is Hannant. Showing the ill effects to that spider bite so far. Here is Ennis now going across to Stagg, who for the second time in a short space of time has hit pretty heavily there. Stewart it was who got up quickly. Ennis early in the tackle count, kicking down the middle of the field. It's really coming down here now. not quite torrential, but oh, here's Idris again. And it's Michael Robertson who has him in his face once more.
Well, you can tell the enthusiasm of a football team because they do the non-negotiables well. And one of the non-negotiables is your kick chase. You have to get down there with speed and you have to make good contact. And the Dogs are doing that.
Watmo will ball out the back. Kite has to pick up the crumbs and he gets going and beats a couple of tackles before he's picked off by Jamal Idris. Ballon from dummy half. Goes a long way before he gives it back on the inside there for Hall. Just inside the Bulldogs 40 when he plays it. Ballon going quickly, catching out the markers. David Stagg was left in his wake and he picked up good metres as a result, Ballon. Now Wolf, just outside the 20. Puts it up high for Suniula to go up against Bryson Goodwin, who came through and made a good stop as well. Play on is the call. Jamie Lyons soccers the ball. It was out on the full at the death. And as the rain comes down, I hope you've got your raincoat with you, Gary Belcher.
No, but I've got the Fox umbrella, and did I hear you say it's not quite torrential? Well, it's headed that way. It's pretty heavy down here. One point I'd like to make about the Bulldogs, well, you know, you'd much rather have a lead in these kind of conditions because as the game progresses and you're trying to chase points, much harder in the wet, obviously. Manly doing everything right. Probably the only mistake they've made is that late challenge, but gee, their first time in that 20-metre zone, the Bulldogs capitalise, and it's a good sign for them.
They looked impressive. Here's Ennis losing the ball after ducking in between the markers, and Manly get a chance immediately in Bulldogs territory. I might revise that forecast. I reckon it is torrential now.
That is torrential.
It's belting down.
In anyone's language.
Here's Glenn Stewart leaving Bulldogs in his wake, about 30 metres out. We play it here for Bailey, who goes across to Kite. He runs at Hodgson. One of the 7 new players in this lineup. Des Hasler has had a trying week as a coach and a mentor to these Manly players. As Watmo is only about 12 or 13 out when he plays it. Ballon shows it again after running across the face of the line. Bailey, a short ball for Stewart. Well picked off though. Good tackle by Ben Roberts. They keep coming to the short side. Bailey again wrapping to the short side. It was stopped about a metre out. Did he lose the ball? No, he didn't. Last play in this set of 6. It goes deep to Warford. He'll put it across the field. A chance for Michael Barney up against Jamal Idris. What a catch. It's belting down rain. And he took it like he was wearing goalkeeper's gloves.
Well, they've done their homework, the Bulldogs. They realise that El Masri is a target because of his height. When they're in this situation, El Masri starts to defend in the centres and Idris is actually out on the wing. He can leap for the football. And my word, what about his hands?
As safe as houses. Here is Roberts playing it just outside his own 10. They're making heady weather of getting out of their own 20 again here. They need a good kick. Hodgson will play it here at his own 20-metre line. Ennis goes across to Kimmorley. Orford was up in his face but pulled out of it, I guess, with the penalty not that long ago in the back of his mind. Suniula is wrapped up by Andrew Ryan at the halfway line. They remain camped in their own end here, the Bulldogs, with their defence has stood tall so far. The ball comes out, and it was after the tackle was completed, they say.
Well, this is something that we probably need to get used to. And I think if you're the coach of either team, you're sending out the instructions about tackle targets. And that tackle target needs to be just on the football or thereabouts.
Almost 13 minutes gone against the Dogs at home. Kind of a vocal crowd on a terrible night as it's turned out here at Homebush. It rained about 5 o'clock to make the field wet, but boy, it's getting sodden right now. Patton a good run off the back of the scrum win. Stagg charging forward, running at Glenn Hall, who hit him solidly again. He'll take some bruises out of this game already, David Stagg. Ennis turns it back for Hodgson. Quick hands, Kimmorley, El Masri coming midfield. 4 points away from tying the record of Andrew Johns. Got one up around the shoulders, or perhaps even more there, and then some advice, perhaps from the assist referee. The tackle was high, or perhaps they were just laying on the tackle too long.
It'll be an interesting one here because it looked as though he may have got him high. I think he was falling in the tackle. It wasn't intentional. I think that was okay. I think he's just got him for lying on the tackle player just a little bit longer than he should have.
El Masri from right in front. I'm never going to knock back the chance of picking up 2 points here. Just outside the 20. Almost quarter of an hour gone. Oh, he hits the upright and it went through. A smile on the face. He's 2 points now from Andrew Johns at 2,174 in his career. I'm going to tell you, he struck them as poorly as he ever has at training yesterday after their ball work session at this field. He was just shanking them, duck hooking them. I've never seen anything like it from him. A kicker of his calibre. I'm really worried when that one hit the upright, but it went through. 8 points to 0. Most importantly for the Bulldogs. Hodgson taking it up towards the 20 on the restart. We'll see how well they do through the forwards out of their own end this time, because they have been stuck in their own 20 in their last few times, trying to get away from their own end. Big Georgie Rose on the sideline. The penalty will help them get out of their own end.
You put a hand on the ball, mate, you can't do it.
Ben Cummins, he is soaked to the bone. The referee looking after the majority of the refereeing so far, with Brett Sutter, of course, on debut here tonight.
Well, Manly didn't have many weaknesses in their game last year, but one thing I'm sure they would have been looking to improve in the off-season was their discipline. They were the most penalised side in 2008. So that's an area they have to improve. They gave away 179 penalties, and already 3 tonight.
They have proved vital to this point of the game. Here's Hannett getting away from the tackle there of Ballon. Jason King gets to him and slams him to the turf. He plays it for Ennis. Kimmorley now showing it inside, then out, took them on himself. He's about 20 away. Plays it for Ennis again. He had Hannett with him. He went to Roberts instead, who had a look and knocked it on. You might have thought it went backwards, but the referee very quickly said it was a knock on, just ever so slightly.
Ben Roberts is a player I've got a lot of time for. I think he's tremendously talented, but he just hasn't found his position in the football team. Now, given that he's got Ennis and got Kimmorley in this football team, and they are good players at being able to provide direction for a football team, he can just float a bit and play what he sees. Yes, he'll stick with a bit of structure, but I think when Ben Roberts is running the football, rather than being a ball player, he's much better.
Here is Roberts making a tackle, and with the conditions the way they are, of course, Ben Barber is on the bench tonight for the Bulldogs, and he is there looking at the number 6 jumper himself full-time in 2009, but given the rain and the fact that the Bulldogs have an 8-0 lead, I just wonder how much we'll see of Ben Barber here tonight. He might sit on the bench and not get a run.
Yeah, I think, you know, if it had been a dry weather game, I'm sure Ben Barber would have gotten a lot of time, but you just got to wait and see in these type of conditions.
The kick goes down to Bryson Goodwin. He picks it up at his own 10-metre line. Orford leading the chase down there, and Goodwin brings it back to the Bulldogs 20. Ooh, lightning again, boy, I tell you what, that is getting closer.
So they call the game off. What about that lightning?
Well, the Thunder's got the crowd animated. The flash of lightning certainly had me animated, don't worry. To the north of the stadium as we look at things, and boy, the rain is coming down. Thunder and lightning as well. It's some sort of start to 2009 for both these clubs, isn't it? I guess it matches the mood of Manly this week. Robertson plays it at the 30 for Barney. Good tackle there by Michael Lennis. Lights perhaps flickering on and off here at ANZ Stadium as well. We're going to lose a bank of them for a moment there. Here's Kite working it forward. To be stopped there by Warburton. Maddie out of dummy half. Good run for the Kiwi International to take them inside the Bulldogs 40. You play it quickly for Ballon. It goes away to Warford, who goes to the boot, puts El Masri under pressure, floating back with it. He did well. It's a terrible night for the back three of both teams given these conditions. Look at this rain. It's a wall of water now.
Well, I can't remember the last game that was played in these types of conditions, but they're handling it well at the moment, both teams. Not a lot of errors. I think we'll see a lot of this. Just one out running, dummy half running, and trying to get to their kick.
Here's Stagg going wide inside their own 20 in these conditions. They're playing dry with a football. They picked up a few metres out of it, but boy, they took a chance right there. Goodwin will play it.
Didn't think I'd see that.
They're confident, obviously, the Dogs. They've got reason to be. At 8-0 first half. Ennis under pressure. He had a couple of double pumps and then Orford gets back. He can't pick it up. He might have knocked it back purposely to Michael Robertson. It could have been a pretty good play from the captain and halfback.
That was smart play by Orford. He knew they were coming down on him. He pushed the ball back to Robertson. Yeah, great work, Matty Orford.
More lightning flashing above us in the sky here at ANZ. Bailey playing it. This is unbelievable. It's end of the world stuff. Ballon. He goes to Orford. He had Watno coming with him. He hasn't had too many chances so far to run the ball. The breeze from the south bringing the Stormers with it, favouring the Dogs in this first half. It must be stinging the eyes of these Manly players. A spiral bomb well taken by Luke Patton, who very quickly said Searles back in the in goal. And the referee agreed they'll bring it back out to their own 20.
That was great work by Patton. Extremely difficult conditions. That ball was just floating in the air. Well done. But the Bulldogs will be hoping that they can get to their kick on this occasion, but actually get further upfield, and this will help them do it.
Too long.
Penalty. Another penalty against Manly.
4-0 it is. Penalties now against the Seagulls, and every one of them helped the Bulldogs out of their own end, and two of them went directly to points. A try to Idris back in the 7th minute, and a penalty goal to El Masri in the 15th. Kimmorley taking it forward, giving it off to Chris Armott, who is out there now. Shane Rodney also getting a chance to come on. The Seagulls taking the place of Glenn Hall for Desi Hasler. Ennis waits a dummy half. A close hand was Stagg. It picks off some good metres. They were slow getting off their line there, Manly. As a result, Ballon and Rose had to make a tackle 15 metres out from their line. Cannon tipping it on for Kimmorley. Idris knocked backwards. Picked up by Kimmorley. No, it wasn't backwards, they say. Looked to have been a tough call on Idris and also Kimmorley. Look at that rain coming down.
It's unbelievable.
You can barely see the players at times. The squalls are coming down with such ferocity.
This looks to be a bit of a pet play of theirs, the Bulldogs. They go forward through the middle third.
Wait there.
When they earn that quick play the ball, it's a second man shot to the edge. I suppose why wouldn't you keep going that way when Idris has some success earlier in the match?
Yours, mate.
You can hear the wind, which is really swirling around here now at Homebush with the referee's microphones. It's incredible conditions. Here are the Dogs driving Michael Barney back inside his own 20. They come wide of the play, the ball for a settler. And they take it forward through Shane Rodney. Former Panther who's missed plenty of football in recent seasons, has had terrible neck injuries. Now Suniola puts it down. And the Dogs will get a chance from 30 metres out from the Seagulls line.
Well, the weather hasn't scared both teams of using the football. And I have to say, I'm liking it, but I just don't think you need to do it in these types of conditions when you're 8 points behind, 20 minutes into the game, working the ball out of trouble. But here come the Bulldogs, 30 metres out from the scrum.
It can't be dry still, Gary Belcher down there.
No, nothing like dry. It's going to be a wet night, but nothing like the players are copping. Laurie, I've got to agree with you, mate. I've got to say it's great to have you back. Always loved having you on my team. But Manly, what they did in their first 3 or 4 sets, a great kick chase. They got a couple within the 10-metre line, one in the in goal. They had all the pressure on the Bulldogs until that first try, but they seem to have gone away from that, and they are trying to shift it, and the conditions have got worse.
Ennis grubbering, Suniola under pressure, had no option. Ennis kept chasing through with his teammates, and they've earned themselves a goal line dropout.
He's a great man, Gary Belcher. Always said he was the best fullback I've ever seen.
Oh, the Mutual Admiration Society.
It's unbelievable. It's almost as thick as the rain.
Yeah, Warren Smith's a good
here at Homebush. Good grubber by Ennis, beautifully weighted, and they had Suniola rounded up. There was no coming back from the in goal there for the rookie winger. Matt Orford off the side of the boot. You can understand why in these conditions. And Ryan, as a result, brings it back inside the 30 on play number 1. Ennis at dummy half. He's looked sharp so far. Gives it off to his former Broncos teammate, still teammate, and Ben Hannant. He's about 18 away. Ennis to Kimmorley. Ball back on the inside. Perhaps a high tackle, some appeals there from the Bulldogs. Chris Armott followed around the shoulders. He bounces back to his feet though. Now Winnes, little trick shot pattern in and around the play. The ball, Kimmorley giving it off to Roberts, who's going to take some stopping, and eventually they did through Jamie Lyon. He's only a metre out. They come to the short side. Kimmorley grabbers. More pressure here. Well handled by Suniula to save the day once again.
Suniula getting to the football, and I think this will be an area where the Bulldogs will work Manly over. They're back three. They're inexperienced. Robinson, normally a winger playing at fullback. Suniula, first grade debut. And Michael Barney, he's only played a handful of first grade games. So they need to have variety. They need to mix it up. And they need to make sure that they never feel comfortable.
Almost a carbon copy of the previous dropout from Matt Orford, and Luke Patton at speed came racing down the field and made a terrific catch. Here's John Kite, 21-year-old who was just barnstorming his way through the Toyota Cup last year. Got a chance in first grade towards the end of the season. Now a short ball for Kimmorley. It was almost away. Nice pass from David Stagg. Here's Roberts going at them. Stopped about 5 metres out. Ballon was there in the tackle. So was Cuthbertson. They almost didn't get a dummy half there. Ennis only just picked it up in time. The lightning continues to flash above the stadium, and the Bulldogs stay on the attack. Here's Kimmorley. Good pass to Armott. A ball out the back. A chance from Warburton. Away to Jamal Hendricks, who gets a double, and the Bulldogs make it 12 points to 0.
That's what pressure can do. You build pressure and points will follow. Chris Armott, lovely offload there to Kimmorley, and they work the numbers. Warburton onto Idris, and he scores a double. They're playing some good football. There you can see the offload, and Barney was left marking 3 players. He decided to go in. And Idris, second try of the night.
5 minutes in from the sideline. Hawking. Flags are in the air. And he's tied Andrew Johns. 2,176 points. They had that sort of flight yesterday, but they were missing by 10 metres.
Doesn't matter what it looks like, as long as they go over. You can see the big smile come on Haslam's face. Too easy.
Unbelievable. 1 point away from having the record on his own. Here they go for the restart. A chance down the sideline. Fired back on the inside by Morris. And they'll give Manly a chance to hit back.
They're playing some wonderful football, and it's hard to be critical because given the conditions, they are prepared to use it and back their skills. And that's lovely off a kickoff. Josh Morris, though, just trying to get on the outside of Chris Bailey. I think it is. Chris Bailey, yeah, comes up with a tremendous tackle. It's a bit like Russian roulette down the sideline. You need to make sure you can come in field at some stage. You feel as though you're under pressure.
Here's Maddie. After Manly win the scrum, almost half an hour gone. 14-0 to the Bulldogs over the reigning premiers. Rodney, playing for Ballon. Goes away to George Rose. Suffered that terrible broken leg back in round 11 of 2007. Looked as though his career was over, and here he is back playing top-flight football once again. You have to be full of admiration for what he's done to get back to the NRL. Robertson playing it for Suniula. Fires a ball to Cuthbertson, who loses his footing just outside the tenners. He had Stagg and Ennis coming up to meet him. Will go again towards El Masri, who goes up for it. He was in the in-goal area, they say, and they will bring it back to their own 20 after a nervous opening. They got an awkward pass from Luke Patton. He's looked pretty good on that right-hand side after they did have their troubles under the high ball, both he and Matt Utai last season.
Well, that was a flatter kick, so it was easy for El Masri to get to the football. The ones where they're in a little bit of trouble is when they get a bit of height about it. And the opposition team can come through. But the Bulldogs, I think they've made a mistake. Turned it over. This will be their second mistake early in the tackle count in their last 2 sets. You talk about pressure.
Just wait, boys, no ball, no.
Are they about to let Manly back into this game?
Outside leg forward.
just inside the 30-metre line with the scrum feed and the wind. Gives it to Bailey. It runs across the face there of Kimmorley. He puts it down also, and the Bulldogs are there to grab it straight away. Warburton dived on it, but it won't matter. It will be a knock-on both ways, says the referee. It's going to be that sort of game now for the rest of this 50 minutes or so remaining, because it is just terrible, these conditions. Wind, terrible rain, and lightning as well, which would have caught the players' eyes a number of times. It was that graphic.
And again, you can see there, contact with the football coming loose. That's where your tackle target needs to be. Talk about kicking games being so important, but you need to get the first part of the process right as well, and that's to get to your kick.
A long way to go in this game. The lightning flashes once again here at Homebush. Now another penalty against the Sea Eagles. Brett Kimmorley will call out that offer here.
Hang on a sec, mate. Wait till you get here. Matthew, I'm going to talk to you.
Mate, I'm going to get out of here.
You coming out yelling at me. Matt, I'm going to do you a favour. 6 in a row is right. Go back and tell your team to clean the rucks up, or we're going to have to use the sin bin. Don't come out of it like that again. You told me about 2 before. They're doing every single time. That's got nothing to do with the rucks. Your blokes in the rucks tidy it up.
Well, Matt Orford highlighting the fact that the referees are going to be tough this season on players walking off the mark, walking sideways to put the markers out of play. I don't know that Hazem El-Masri was walking forward there.
Oh, you've got to try and put pressure on the referee as much as you can. He's a rookie, young Brett Sutter.
Certainly handled it with plenty of authority. As they take it forward, the Dogs in a good field position once again. A terrific run by Chris Armott. Inside the 20, he had them hanging on to him, but he just kept going. Ennis, the ball back on the inside. Andrew Ryan, just outside the 10. A bit of work facially there from Shane Rodney, and the captain wasn't too happy about it. Here's Roberts going back towards the uprights. There was half a gap there. It closed between Ballon and also Stewart. Then, Ballon gets a bit of a knee. And then he fires, punches at Roberts. It's spilled over here. Matt Ballon gave Roberts a bit of a facial himself, and then used the knee to just nudge him, if nothing else.
Well, this will be interesting. I couldn't see from through the rain.
And it might give Hazem El-Masri the chance to break the record from next to the post.
Well, he's thrown the first punch by the look at it, Matty Ballon. We'll listen to what the officials have to say.
Matt Ballon.
They come from everywhere to get involved.
And Michael Ennis. I've got Matt Ballon as the aggressor.
Yeah, Matt Ballon looked at his knee. Yeah, I'm going to sing Vin Ballon right now. And Matty Orford and Matt Ballon.
Talk to
Matt Ballon.
Vic Ennis, mate.
Matt, I just spoke to you about indiscretion in the ruck. If you didn't listen, you can have said. And then you need to speak. Number 16. Whoever number 16 is.
Matt Ballon goes to the sin bin. They can have 10 minutes off. The Sea Eagles got the warning from the referee.
Come here, yeah.
Brett Sutter makes good on his threat.
Matt, we've got a penalty in the ruck. I'm 5 metres away from it. This bloke comes sprinting past me to get involved. You could find yourself sitting down as well. Cut the rubbish out. The Bulldogs did run 10 metres, 20 metres. I will deal with them. I've shown you what we'll do now. Tidy it up. Andrew Ryan. And you, Ben. Guys, we need to settle the rucks down, okay? We've got them under control. There's no need to get silly. We'll referee the game. All right, penalty you got.
Yeah, it's a penalty to the Bulldogs as expected. A chance to make it 16 points to 0. And the roar goes up as Andrew Ryan says we'll take the shot at 2. Because here he comes. The man of the moment. Hazem El-Masri. What a story it's been. He came to Australia as a 10-year-old migrant from Lebanon 21 years ago, and here he is now, about to break the record of the one and only Andrew Johns. El-Masri hits it. And a man of great humility is most games for them, most points for them, quite obviously, the most tries, the most points in a single match, most goals in a single match. He has been an absolute sensation from day one for the Bulldogs, the way he's carried himself throughout his career, and now he sits alone at the top of the all-time point-scoring list. A terrific moment for a club that's had its own battles, of course, in recent seasons. We've got a new beginning, it seems, in 2009, and they couldn't be off to a better start, could they? 16-0 against the Manly Sea Eagles.
It's a good start, but I don't want to be pessimistic, but they were in this position round one last year.
They led 20 points to 0 against the Parramatta Eels and got swamped in the second half. They have the breeze at their backs at this point in time. Boy, his heart would be racing, wouldn't it, Hazem El Masri at the moment. He got the crowd on their feet. They loved every second of it. He holds the record on his own. Congratulations to Hazem El Masri. Goodwin it is who picks up the kick, brings it back towards the 20.
He was confident about getting it too, wasn't he? He was saluting, the crowd was saluting back. He didn't have much time to celebrate it. Manly wanted to get on with it straight away.
They were in no mood to see things stop, give him a moment or two to pause and salute the crowd. He did that on his way back in a hurry, as you said. And now Patton will play the ball at the Bulldogs 20. They're making heavy weather once again of getting out of their own end. Pite takes it up towards the 30-metre line. 5 out from half-time. What a scoreline this is. Ennis to Kimmorley. Tips it on again for Warburton, who's playing inside. Idris out there. Hasn't seen the ball on too many occasions, Warburton, but when he has, he's done very well. Oh, a kick off the side of the boot. He went to El Masri. Back on the inside. Kimmorley lost it backwards. Play on. El Masri puts it on the toe, and it ends up going to Suniula, who'll bring it back beyond the 30-metre line. They got out of jail there, the Bulldogs.
1980, the Bulldogs were known as the Entertainers. What about that?
They turned back the clock some 29 years. That was something. It wasn't planned that way, but it worked out okay.
It mustn't have been planned. A little off the side of the boot.
Here's Cuthbertson playing it for Manly. 5 on the Bulldogs side of halfway. Robertson. He goes across to give it off to Shane Rodney.
It's great to see that you can play this type of football in these conditions, though, and they're prepared to do that.
Orford cuts out one to give it to Maddie. Steps on the inside of Kimmorley. Pops a ball. Took a chance. Knocked it on. Ennis picks it up. Now he's away. He's got Patton on his outside. He couldn't go with Ennis. And Barney from behind runs down the hooker. It's play on for the Bulldogs inside the Manly 30-metre line. Kimmorley taking it a long way before he's chopped down, and a good tackle by Chris Bailey. El Masri at dummy half. Here's Roberts. Comes away to David Stagg, who links up on the outside with Bryson Goodwin for the corner. They won't get there. The Bulldogs are in again. And they make it 20 points to 0. They are the entertainers.
The crowd are standing as one, saluting and clapping, and why wouldn't you? I didn't think this would be the way that the game would be played. I thought it'd be more go through the middle, kick and chase. That's the orders for the night. But Canterbury have thrown that out the window and have been prepared to back themselves and back their skill level. And if they see space on the edge, they're prepared to do it. And that's a lovely pass on to Goodwin. And Goodwin is making his debut for the club. David Stagg, not known as a ball player, skips to the outside, attracts defenders and puts Goodwin away. Scintillating football from the Bulldogs.
There is Goodwin. Well, as we said, scored a terrific try. He showed lovely hands on a kick for the Sharks last year at this venue. Now he scores one in his first game as a Bulldog at the same stadium as El Masri. To make it 3 the difference between himself and Andrew Johns. More importantly, 22 the difference between the Bulldogs and the Premiers. Just a metre in from the sideline. This one hooking back. There's no stopping him now. Get up, he certainly are here. They endured a terrible season last year, these Bulldogs fans. They're starting out in a big way at the moment. They are lapping this up.
Well, they've had plenty of possession, the Bulldogs, but their completion rate is enormous, and they haven't just been going through the motions. 18 from 22.
Orford with the restart. 60 seconds out from half-time. 22-0. There's nothing wrong with your TV. Don't go pulling at the cords. That is the correct scoreline. Warburton. Whipping it up towards the 30.
Good tip on play.
They've done it well. Here's Hannon back in behind the play. The ball gets an offload away. They've done that well as well. Kept the ball alive. Made Manly work in defence. Ennis goes back to Widris. Did well to hang on to it. It was an awkward one down around the knees for minutes, but the big fella hung on to it. Now Hannon chopped down. Right around the thighs with Shane Rodney making a good tackle. Ennis on the last play. Manly are walking. They are out on their feet at the moment here, right before half-time. Robertson all got away from Kimmorley. He did well, the fullback, to beat the charging number 7. He plays it a metre out from his own line.
Great energy by Kimmorley. That lifts the football team. 22 points in front, 30 seconds to go before half-time. He's not content with just kicking it down there and just slowly getting down there. They've set the trend early with their kick and chase, and they've continued it.
Well, there is half-time. An unbelievable half of football. Hazem El Masri is the all-time point-scoring champion in the NRL. 2,180 points in his career. And what might be his last season in the NRL. And the Bulldogs lead 22 points to 0. Matt Orford gets us underway for the second half. It goes down to Luke Patton. And they'll work it back out towards their own 20, the Bulldogs, through Chris Armand, who was good after coming off the bench midway through that first half. A lovely offload, which led to Jamal Idris's second try. Hannett will play it here for Ennis, who said he will be an 80-minute player every week for the Bulldogs in 2009. They won't carry a dummy half in this, or a backup dummy half in this early part of the season, given his form to this point of his career. But what we've seen already for the Bulldogs tonight, they don't need a backup dummy half. He's been terrific for them already.
They say he's one of the fittest guys, if not the fittest at the club.
Now here's Robertson getting crunched. Kimmorley was in there, so was Roberts over the top, and the halves combining to stop their opposing fullback, Michael Barney.
Surrender!
7 new signings in this Bulldogs lineup for 2009, and each of them, to this point, done very well for their new club. Here's Stewart getting the dummy half and giving it off to Cuthbertson. The rain, which had eased off, coming back once again here as Manly work it inside the Bulldogs' half. Bailey going down the short side, 30 metres out from the Bulldogs' line. Play it here for Stewart, who's working it from dummy half once again. They go to the air. Some pressure here on El Masri, who gets up above them. What a catch. Boy, what a night out he's having.
Well, they've been testing him. They've peppered him with a couple in the first half, and their first opportunity in the second half, it's out to El Masri, and he's come up with the football. But Michael Ennis now coming up with the first mistake for the Bulldogs. And Manly, if they are to get back into the contest, they need to be the first to score. And a great opportunity here, midfield scrum.
Well, Matt Ballin about to rejoin his teammates. Timekeepers with stopwatches at the ready. We'll rejoin them as they go on the attack here from the scrum. Orford giving it off to Bailey. He's a great runner of the football. A danger from close range to crash his way across. Here's Stewart, a couple of metres out. Ballin is back on the field for the Sea Eagles, and now the Bulldogs give away a penalty. Manly got thumped 6-0 in the penalties in the first half. It certainly helped the Dogs to run away to this 22-0 scoreline as Rodney plays it a couple of metres out. Ballin Back there straight away. Orford goes deep. Bailey showing it back on the inside for Robertson. A bit of a play that they've used so well over the years with Brett Stewart, but of course he is indeed for the first 4 weeks. Ballin straight back on the field, and he gets across the line to put the Sea Eagles on the board.
I think he snuck under the radar, Matt Ballin. He scored a try like this in the grand final, the opening try. He loves to go from dummy half if he senses a weakness. And you can just see Armand shifting his eyes and leaving Andrew Ryan posted.
71% success rate for Matt Orford in 2008. He opens 2009 with a conversion of the Matt Ballin try. And 16 is the difference. The Wolfman, David Williams, won't be in action for some time after suffering a shoulder injury in the World Club Challenge victory over the Leeds Rhinos. Might be round 6 or 7, or maybe even a little bit more for the Wolfman before we'll see him back in action after an unbelievable 2008. What a bust-out season it was after getting a chance in round 8 for the Sea Eagles. The man he replaced, Michael Barney, has the ball off the kick-off. They let it bounce. And Tannen, who rounds him up about 5 metres out from his own line. Ballin giving it to Cuthbertson. Talking about bust-out seasons. He certainly had one of those last season, Adam Cuthbertson. Keep it alive here. Rodney might have got one right across the chin there accidentally from Andrew Ryan, but he gets up and plays it pretty quickly. Ballin now to Bailey. Stewart coming up out of the line was Morris, who got there pretty quickly and hung on to him as well. A look for a penalty, and the referee says you were trying to milk it. Now they get one.
Marker depth, you've got to be back. Too deep on the marker position.
Ben Cummins says the second marker wasn't at marker. He wasn't back to 10 either, and as a result nearly will go out of their own end through the boot of Jamie Lyon downstairs to Gary.
Kevin Moore made the point to his troops that it was no coincidence they were leading so well on the scoreboard because of their discipline. You know, 6-0 in the penalties against Manly. Well, now, first 5 minutes of the second half, they've given away 2 penalties. They've dropped the ball and conceded a try.
They dropped the ball here. It's backwards, though, from Matt Orford. Say the referees, in fact, it was touched by a Bulldog, so they'll get 6 more tackles. Here's Watler. Going one way, coming back the other. He has been quiet, but you could say that about plenty of Manly forwards in this game so far. They've been dominated by the Bulldogs. Jump out of dummy half through Ballin. About 23 metres out from the Bulldogs line. A chance to go back-to-back here via the penalty. As Maddai puts a step on, he was almost away. Grabbed by Stagg and Ennis, but only just. Ballin goes quickly. Orford hangs onto it. It bounced off his chest. He reeled it back in before he hit the turf. Ballin comes to Bailey. What a great pass off the legs there of Cuthbertson, picked up by Watmo, who straightens, got away from Stagg's tackle, but not Andrew Ryan. Quick play the ball. They go to the short side. Orford rubbers off the legs of Michael Ennis. He's got some support on his outside. He gives it away to Josh Morris, and he will go the rest of the way. The Bulldogs, they hit straight back, and it's 26-6. What a good man to find when you've got the ball in the open field. Morris scores his first try as a Bulldog.
Well, he scored 14 tries last year for the Dragons. Josh Morris. He's really found a home at left centre. That's the position, his favourite position. Ennis just sticking his leg out. And the football was there. It ricocheted off his leg. There was no Manly support of chasers coming across. He picked it up and gave it to the speedier man in Josh Morris.
He's got his first try in this new season. El Masri looking to keep his perfect record intact in this game. It's hooking back. He could fix the economy at the moment. That's how good Hazem El Masri's going. He's got the record. All he can do is laugh.
Kevin's not going to have a smile on his face just yet. He knows that Manly are a very good football team. But Morris streaking down the field. It's a great sight when you see 2 of the faster men in the game going through it.
Well, there aren't too many in the NRL who would catch Josh Morris over any sort of distance. He is one of the real flyers. He showed that right there. 22 the difference once again to the Bulldogs. Hannett getting away from Jason King, who was racing up out of the line pretty quickly. Wrestled to the ground by Rodney and also Cuthbertson. Ennis to Kimmorley. Thought about giving it on his outside. He didn't need to. He's back on the inside. They're off again. He's looking for Andrew Ryan. He found him. Now it comes away. They keep it alive through to Murray. Now Redress. Look out. They grab him from behind. They go 90 metres. Here's Ennis. A wide ball to Stagg. Wider still. Roberts. If he keeps it alive, they score. Good tackle by Jamie Lyon. Quick play the ball for Kimmorley. Patton's there. He gives it away to Morris. To Bryson Goodwin. He gets his second try. It's a Bulldogs blitz.
They worked the football down the field and then they moved it to the left-hand side, and Josh Morris was able to attract a couple of defenders. And Sunila, a couple of times tonight, has come in when he should have stayed out on his man. But what a debut by Goodwin. 2 tries. Outstanding.
Right across the park. They've been just incredible. And now El Masri trying to make it 7 from 7. We've got half an hour left here. It starts out wide. It's hooking. Back is an absolute genius. A goal-kicking genius. The record is his. There's debate as to who's the best of all time. I'll take him. I'll take him every time. You can have your Halligans and everybody else. Hazem El Masri, unequalled for mine in the goal-kicking ranks.
Well, it's hard to argue against. He's an 80% goal kicker over 13 seasons. This is his 14th year. He learned off Darryl Halligan, and he may be even better.
When he got his chance, he was a real hooker of the football initially. He worked long and hard to correct it. And he hooks them more now than he did, I guess, at the peak of his powers in the likes of 2003 when he set a single season point scoring record. But boy, he's just absolutely magic tonight. He is El Magic. 34-6. Almost half an hour remaining. Robertson here will pick up the kick, 10 out from his own line, and he sees a wall of blue and white in his face as he picks it up. Their enthusiasm is infectious.
Well, that's been from the first kick tonight. They've led the chase. Spoke about non-negotiables in a game of league, and they have just worked hard on that, putting Manly under pressure, and it's great to see.
Coming from the field, we saw Michael Hodgson going back towards the bench, perhaps a concern about a shoulder injury for him. We'll get a word on that from Gary Belcher as Shane Rodney works it forward for the Seagulls. Now they're looking at his left knee or perhaps left hamstring as well. Bailey from inside the 40 for the Seagulls. Enough angle to pick off a 40-20. He finds Luke Patton, who played a big role on both sides of the field in that lead-up to the try by Bryson Goodwin.
It's different mentalities with the kick chase. For Manly, when they kick chase, they're running down and they're making sure they have a line together. They're working on the principle, we'll go down as a line, we'll go down steady. The Bulldogs are working on the principle, someone lead the line, go quick, but we'll follow you. So they set the standard. There's one person setting the challenge and the rest follow.
A mistake there by Michael Ennis, who jumped out of dummy half and got crunched by the marker, and as a result, Manly have it here. About 45 out. From the Bulldogs line, Ben Barber is on his feet. He'll certainly get a run now, given the scoreline is 34 points to 6. It was in some doubt earlier on when it was belting down rain and there was not much between the sides, but it has been all the Bulldogs ever since. And Barber will get his chance here in the second half. A penalty to Manly. Hands in the play of the ball. Brett Kimmorley will argue the toss.
Nice tackle. Right there.
And they'll go inside the 20 here. What a return to ANZ Stadium for Manly. They smacked the Melbourne Storm in the grand final. And they're on the end of one themselves at the hands of last year's wooden spooners. Lestrange's out there. He gives it off to Rodney. Goes to Brent Kite, a little flip out the back for Bailey. It goes to the right-hand side straight away. Stewart fires it wide. Lyon wrapping around the back was Robertson. Play on is the call. It wasn't knocked on, they say. Now Stewart straightens. Oh, Ennis driving in right around the ribs, and he spilled the ball. Brett Stewart, terrific tackle by the hooker.
Full of enthusiasm. They can smell blood now, the Bulldogs. And Manly coming up with another penalty against them. Marcus not being square. Remarkable turnaround from the end of 2008, or even only a couple of weeks ago. World Club champions Manly, but coming up against a fired-up Bulldogs outfit, looking for redemption after their disastrous year. And on the form they've displayed tonight, a lot of people were expecting them and hoping that they'd make the 8. I didn't have them in my 8, but on tonight's performance, you would think that they are a massive chance.
I guess it's early days to say they're reborn, but boy, there's plenty of evidence to suggest they are right now.
Well, it's a good reference point for them. This is their level now. This is the statement they've made in week 1. This is the standard they need to be at every week, or better.
They're on the attack once again. Ryan will play it, 25 away. Kimmorley comes to the right-hand side. Here's Idris. Putnam also El Masri. Nowhere to go for El Magic. So he chips it into the air. Beautifully weighted. Robertson will bring it back. They'll try and drag him back. And the referees will say it's a penalty.
I have to agree. I think when your body is off the ground and your leg is lifted, the referees have no other option. When you're fired and carried, there's no other option.
We saw it go against the Dragons last night against the Melbourne Storm at Olympic Park. You lift the leg into the air and the tackle is called held immediately. And a good call by the referees. The Manly players, they were aware of it, perhaps having watched the action last night. Here's George Rose playing. Brent Kite goes towards the halfway line. Jason King going back for a breather after a stint in which they scored their first try, but they watched the Bulldogs score 2 more to make it 34-6. Lestrange playing it for Orford. Goes to Bailey. Goes to the line and gives it off to Stewart. Now Lyon. He runs towards Morris, who's been good defensively. He's got Ben Barber out there with him on that left-hand side at the moment. Barber out there for Ben Roberts, who's back on the bench. It goes high to the air. Now Masri or Idris won't get to it. In fact, Idris will get to it on the ground, as it turned out. Mounty tried to bat it backwards. They've come up with it through Steve Matai. It looked as though Idris had it. Matai was able to reef it away from him, perhaps on the ground, as Rodney takes it forward. He'll play it here for Lestrange. It goes to Watmo. He hasn't had too many carries tonight, has he, Anthony Watmo, compared to what we saw against Leeds just a couple of weeks ago. All he could do was run for tries on that occasion. Robertson picks it up. Kimmorley's up in his face. Listen to the Bulldogs fan roar.
Just tenacious.
They're loving this display.
He's a tenacious Bulldog. Kimmorley tonight.
I'm loving your work, Laurie.
Snapping at the heels.
You've picked up where you left off. Here's Bailey. Going to Stewart. They go wide, still to Lyon on the outside. Lyon still going, will get the ball down and score for the Seagulls.
Mate, that'll be the 5th. Just want to check grounding.
The angle from the other end of the field might be the only one which would deny him a try at this point. Here it is again.
It's okay if you get your hand now. Oh, it doesn't hit the ground. It's knocked on. It's knocked forward though.
There will be no try. And the referee says we'll bring it back out to the 20 for the knock-on and the in-goal.
It's great to see we're not using the video referee for so many instances in the game, because from what I've seen so far this weekend, the football has been outstanding and the game is a lot faster. I think we're all better off for it.
Surrender! You wouldn't say it's a different game, but boy, it's received an injection of life, hasn't it, given all the stoppages we saw with the stripping rule in particular, and also players, I guess, laying down, looking for penalties in situations where there was minimal contact. A number of tweakings to all those rules in 2009, and so far Only halfway through week 1, of course, but I think it's been a great success.
Totally agree. And there's the discipline once again from Manly, letting them down. 8-4.
As the Bulldogs go on the attack, let's quickly go downstairs to Gary Belcher.
We just saw a shot of the starting Bulldogs props, Ben Hannans and Michael Hodgson. Hodgson won't be back. He's got some hamstring tightness, so no point in risking him, particularly with the scoreline as it is. Benny Hanna going great, though, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another run.
Badge, can I ask a quick question? In Queensland, do you mow the lawn with thongs on?
It's been known to happen, Laurie. I can't say I haven't done it myself.
Here's Kimmorley, we've all done it. The ball back on the inside, intended for Warburton, picked up. Good hands there by Shane Rodney.
Better explain why.
If you missed the story on Ben Hannon as we looked at him on the bench there, he'll love this scoreline himself at 34 points to 6, but he spent time in hospital every day this week, twice a day in fact, as Matai loses the ball, but it was ripped out. The 2 in the tackle. He was bitten on the left foot by a spider while mowing the lawn in thongs. And it meant a trip to the hospital twice a day to be on an IV drip to get rid of the infection. He certainly hasn't played like he was bitten during the week, has he, tonight? He's been very good in his first game for the Dogs.
Outstanding.
George Rose. He takes it up towards the 20. Lestrange waits at dummy half. There's Brent Kite. Stopped there. And a good tackle by John Kite. Lestrange goes from dummy half. A bit of depth for Bailey. A flat pass then for Glenn Stewart. But he was tackled by Ben Barber, who's done huge amounts of work on his defence in the pre-season. And Kevin Moore has been impressed. The lightweight whippet who can score tries in handfuls, as he's shown so far in his time in the Toyota Cup and also first grade. But defence is the key for him as the Seagulls go to the left-hand side. Michael Barney. Just inside the sideline. I think he might have hit the sideline and lost the ball. This angle here, though, the ball comes away there. Is he back in control? Perhaps there. Is his toe on the line? I think the toe's just inside the line. I'm happy with that. I think I would say benefit of the doubt as far as the put down.
I think it'll be a try. Just got maybe a little bit of concern whether his foot was on the line. Wasn't much in it.
Well, they say no try. We still agree, but this time we did disagree with the video referee. I guess you could have made a case either way. It was very close with his toe on the sideline, and I think I would go that way to overrule it as opposed to the put down.
I think the put down was okay, the way that I'm understanding the rule, but I think his toe may have just touched the sideline.
Steve Clark is the video referee, and here you heard it. Grapple tackle was the call from the assist referee. Brent Kite, the man penalised for the tackle.
That's all right.
It's John Kite, the player on the receiving end of it. He gets up and smiles. He's okay. A clear call of grapple by
That's the
Brett
second one
Suttle
against Brett Kite for exactly the same offence, a grapple. Go and have a chat to him, mate, because if he continues down this path, I'll have to sit him down.
Took it away, but as soon as you've done it, you pulled it away.
Mate, it's unnecessary tension to the head on that. Well, that's your opinion. We've called it as a grapple, okay? Talk to him. Talk to him.
Well, we did remove his arm, but there's no doubt that Brent Kite made a second motion to go up to the head on John Kite, and that should be a penalty every time.
Yeah. I think if the arm makes first contact and it stays there, then they pull away. That could be a harsh penalty, but I think when there's a second effort there, when the initial contact is made and then you move up, it's always going to be a penalty when they see it.
It was Kite on Kite. John's okay. Brent perhaps a bit frustrated at the moment given the scoreline and the week they've endured, the Sea Eagles. You'll never know what it's meant to them as far as their preparation is concerned and how much they spent emotionally in the build-up to this game. The Bulldogs have just outplayed them. Warburton just outside the 20 when he plays it here for the Dogs. And he tip it down the short side. Barney under pressure. Oh, Jamal Edwards coming. Has forced a mistake. It was knocked on, was it? No, it wasn't, the referee say. Perhaps a tough call there against the Bulldogs. The Whitmazar went forward from Barney after he was crunched by Jamal Idris.
Well, again off a kick, and there's Ennis leading the way with line speed. They've been very good at it, the Bulldogs, tonight. one game doesn't make a summer as Idris comes in with a big hit there on Barney. But we speak about the standard which has been set now by the Bulldogs, and they need to be consistent with their performances if they're to make the finals this year. But they also need to keep their best players on the paddock, because last year they used 38 players. That's a lot of players to be using.
Orford from inside the 40. Kick it down towards Luke Patton, who after a nervous moment with Hazem El Masri to begin the game have done nothing but put on just touches of class from that point on.
I've been impressed with the way that they've wanted to move the football, and their skill level has been of such a high quality.
Stand up now!
Well, Hazem El Masri, he is going to be mobbed by everybody, including the family, after this game, isn't he? Oh, David Stagg hitting a good tackle by Anthony Watmo, who came tearing out of the line. It forced the ball to come away from Stagg, and Manly come back on the attack. Here's Matai. He'll play it about 30 metres out. Barney giving it off to Kite. Idris stopping it. Plays it for Lestrange, who catches Idris out at marker. He had his back turned, and as a result, Lestrange picked up some good metres. Now Matai from dummy half himself. Goes away to Warford. Showed it to Hall. Gives it off instead to Bailey. Well, as we made mention of earlier, can be a real handful. Scored some good tries for the Knights from close range in his time with Newcastle. Warford coming to Stewart. They've contained him nicely. Now Barber ends up with it. And it was a good thing they had a body there to put a bit of a bump on him initially, Manly. Otherwise, he was going to link up with Morris and others on his outside.
The Bulldogs just haven't allowed Manly to play to their structures. They love going forward, and then when they play to the left, it's through a power game with Watmo and late footwork at the line. Power with Mattai's running. And on the right edge, it's usually Glenn Stewart, Brett Stewart being there. Now Jamie Lyons out that side of the field. It's more of a skillful side of the path, which they like to attack to, but they've had no rhythm and fluency with their play tonight.
There's Warburton, who takes it to the halfway line. Bulldogs fans thought there was a bit of high contact there. Kimmorley taking it to the line. Now they go up again. It was Brent Kimmorley who flung out a left arm at Kimmorley, but he's okay. He kept going and gave it off to Warburton, who takes it down just outside the Manly 30. Last play here, Ennis from dummy half again. Will find the sideline. He'll use up the clock with 14 minutes remaining, and they have 2 points in the bank for 2009 to kick it off. 34-6. And listen to the fans, they're celebrating already.
Well, smart play there by Michael Ennis. The fans have been brilliant tonight, coming out here and supporting their club, and more importantly, I suppose, supporting this man, Hazem El Masri. Well, there it is, 2,184 points, the leading point scorer of all time. And this game has been going 101 years.
We've seen the record change hands 4 times, of course, in the last 8, now 9 seasons. Might be a long time before we see it broken, this record of Hazem El Masri. Who knows what total he will finish with. He's off contract this year. The way he's playing tonight, he can go on in 2010. There's a long way to go, of course, this season. But of the active players who are within any range of El Masri, Craig Fitzgibbon is the closest at 1,498. Well, I don't think he could get there, Fitzy. We'd have to look at somebody who might not even be playing the game at the moment to be the next player to break the record. Another mistake by Manly, as Goodman it is, who picks it up and comes back across the halfway line.
Benny Barber. He is a goal kicker. He can score plenty of points.
He certainly can do that. We talk about Hazem El Masri's goal kicking, but he came here tonight 9th all-time on the try-scoring list. 145 he has. You look at the likes of Andrew Johns and the others, Taylor and Halligan. Halligan scored 80 tries in his career, so did Andrew Johns. Jason Taylor just 47 as the Bulldogs make a mistake, and will give the ball back to the Seagulls. Hazem El Masri to score 145 tries. He's been a lot more than a goal kicker to this club.
Well, it's been overlooked. It's been overlooked given the fact that he is regarded as one of the greatest goal kickers of all time. It's a massive achievement, that amount of tries.
You can stand up if you like.
You know, and he just doesn't just score them 5 metres out. Early in his career, he would run 50 and 60 metres. He had dazzling footwork. He may have slowed down over the last couple of years with a few leg problems. He's a fine competitor, and you get the sense that the players really enjoy playing with him. They'd be just as excited as Hassan would be with this record tonight.
So Nanai runs towards the man we speak of, El Masri, and he plays it on his own side of halfway. Here's Michael Barney running in behind Anthony White. I don't think he went around the back of him, so it'll be okay. Brett Kimmorley asked the question of the assist referee, Brett Sutter, on this occasion, as Kite bumps it forward. Lestrange. It was a revelation off the bench as they went to the title last year. Good play here. They created some space, but coming in, Bryson Goodwin makes a good tackle on Glenn Stewart. They go quickly to the short side again. Lyon with a fend, still going. He's only 10 metres out. They have just one try so far in the game. Orford with the crossfield bomb towards El Masri. He can't come up with it. Kimmorley's there, though, to clean up for the Bulldogs, and it will be a goal line dropout.
They're coming through, placing pressure on El Masri. They spilt the football. I think Kimmorley grounded it. And now it's the Bulldogs to drop it out from underneath the sticks. And there's the trophy they're playing for.
It is the Bullfrog Arco Cup. Of course, Kevin Moore, the son of the great and late Peter Moore, the long-time administrator of the Bulldogs, responsible in some ways for so much of their success, keeping the club together, the club that became known as the Family Club. And Ken Arthurson, what Peter Moore achieved at Canterbury, Ken Arthurson matched on the northern beaches for the Manly Sea Eagles. Former player, of course, and administrator for the Sea Eagles. And if you name a cup to be played for between these two clubs, you could pick no better men than Peter Moore and Ken Arthurson. Here's a mistake. Chris Bailey it is who puts it down. They're loving every second of this now, these Bulldogs fans. Just on 10 minutes remaining, and they lead by 28. If you'd come here tonight and said, well, the score will be 34-6 with 10 remaining, you'd say, well, I feel for the Bulldogs because they'll have obviously done it tough. That's the other way around.
They just haven't been in the contest, Manly. They've been out enthused, they've been outplayed.
Okay, bend it, lock in David, 2 hands.
Hold, guys, don't go early.
And the Bulldogs, they're not relenting. They're defending their try line as if it's the first 10 minutes of the game.
They were absolutely lax defensively last year, the Bulldogs. They conceded 782 points at an average of 33 a game. Contrast that with the Sea Eagles, who conceded only 367 at 14 points a game. There was almost 20 points a game difference defensively between these two outfits. You wouldn't know it, given what we've seen here tonight. Kite driven backwards late in the tackle count for the Dogs as they work it up towards the 40-metre line. There is Ben Roberts back on the field and working it from dummy half at the moment. Stopped there by Ennis. He'll kick from just inside the 40. Not much depth on it, but he'll find the sideline. No, he won't. Barney got back there. Showed good fingertips to keep it in play. He gives it off to Robertson, who I assume will be in the full-back position for the next 3 weeks to come.
Yeah, you'd think so. But Canterbury have got such great variety with their kicking game. We haven't seen it tonight, but with Ennis being able to kick out a dummy half and Brett Kimmorley, and you throw in a left-footed option kicker in Ben Roberts, who kicks the ball nice and long, they've got all bases covered. I think it's great when you've got a left-foot kicker in your football team. He hasn't been required tonight, but as they evolve as a football team, that'll be a very important part of their game.
Here's Bailey working on the left-hand side of the field on a set play for the Sea Eagles, but they read it very well defensively again, the Dogs. Oh, great kick. Oh, Bryson Goodwin makes an incredible catch on a greasy night. Oh, and then Cuthberts and rattles the ribcage there of Luke Patton. This was a pineapple off the boot. Goodwin came in and took it magnificently.
Well, you wouldn't think that there's been any rain here tonight, given the skill on display by the Bulldogs.
And the ball ripped out in the tackle with two involved on Ben Roberts. And Strange gets up, jawing at Michael Lennis, who's known to remind opponents of the scoreboard on occasion. He certainly is a competitive type. Leaves no stone unturned in his efforts to win a game of football. Boy, he's a good pickup for the Bulldogs. We've looked at their gains for 2009 before the start of the game. Nobody went deeper into the market. The Sharks picked up some big names, but the Dogs had plenty to spend, and in fact still have money to spend. And it's not confirmed, but I think you can read it as read that Greg Eastwood will join the Bulldogs and be in first grade at some stage in the weeks ahead.
Well, it adds plenty of depth. I think I was so impressed about the Bulldogs, given the fact that they were looking to chase players. They identified areas that they were deficient in and bought the best that were available.
And you throw Eastwood into this pack. No, they're very good set of forwards here at the Bulldogs, with Nick Cooper-Richa still in the lower grades, Charlie Liano, plenty of backline depth as well. You're going to like what you've seen so far. Here's Kimmorley going to Roberts. Running there at Glenn Stewart. And also Brent Kimmorley. He hung onto the ball and bobbled there for a moment, but he reeled it back in. Now Stagg grubbering towards the in-goal area. Robertson getting across. There's no dramas with that one. Three of them there to drive him back into the in-goal area, including Barber and Goodwood.
Been a feature. It's been one of the real features of the game, the kick chase by the Bulldogs. Every time they have kicked it, they have chased hard. And they haven't just wandered down the field. They have had speed, they've had intent, and they've come up with good contact on each and every occasion.
10 seconds, downside.
Matt Orford using up the clock. It doesn't matter at this point because they're well beaten by now, the Sea Eagles. As the kick goes down to Ben Barber, John Kite. I don't know who was he trying to impersonate there. Was it Benji Marshall? Or perhaps was he going back to an era past? Ryan will play it for Ennis. Here's Kite again. Getting a good tackle by Glenn Hall with Cuthbertson over the top. He'll play it about 18 away from the Manly line. Ennis goes to Kimmorley, wrapping to the short side. Quick ball there. Leads to Murray hitting a hole, or so he thought, until it was closed by Jamie Lyon. Barber comes back to Kimmorley. Here's Roberts. Patton cutting back on the inside. Roberts keeps coming, got away from Matt Orford's tackle, then lost the ball. Matt was there, so was Watmo, and Barney picked it up and brought it back across the 20-metre line for Manly. Now the ball comes away, reached out by David Stagg.
Trying to get away with that, David Stagg. Oh, look at the referee. What have I done, sir?
And it was the assist referee, the man floating in behind the attacking line, who made the call.
I must say, Warren, 7 years ago when you were campaigning for two referees, you looked into the future.
I didn't want to bring it up, Laurie.
You looked into the future. So you're the one that's got this started. You are the visionary.
No, don't give me credit. Got it campaign long and hard.
Take it, because it's the only time I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you. Here's Cuthbertson. Manly keep it alive. And they find themselves back on the halfway line. I'll take it when you dish it up. Suniula. With a tough old night to make your debut as a 26-year-old. Now Cuthbertson. Into Ennis and also Stagg. They chop him down midfield about 38. Or 30 out, rather, from the Bulldogs line. Stewart to Orford. A ball back on the inside for Robertson. Special play they used for Brett Stewart. Left on the field, on the ground rather, behind the play was David Stagg. He'll be okay. Oh, Goodwood again, this time above his head. And he gives an offload away as well to Luke Patton. They're the Globetrotters, not the entertainers.
No. How can you come up with a catch like that? Outstanding once again. Hasn't put a foot wrong. None of their players have.
He was skating across the turf a moment ago, taking one. Some above the head, we saw Jamal Idris, and it really was belting down earlier in the game. Make a terrific catch at the other end of the field. Luke Patton has made a mistake here. There's been plenty of balls put down. If you just tuned in, you missed an unbelievable rainstorm for most of the first half of the game. A thunderstorm hit the Homebush precinct. It was flashing lightning. It wasn't all that far away at different stages. It didn't stop the Bulldogs as they ran out to a 20-0 scoreline at half-time. 22 points to nothing from the Premiers. It was quite remarkable. Here's Mallor putting in a kick that nobody expected. Idris will go back and clean it up for the Bulldogs with just over 3 minutes remaining in the game. Patton away from dummy half. Adelaide there coming from behind to make the tackle on him.
One of his favourite plays, Luke Patton. Dummy half, show and go. Stole 10 metres.
Played just 7 games, of course, last season. Just the majority of it with that back complaint. Now they go wide again. Kimmorley, and no look pass. Jamie Lyon was up in their face and it hit him right on the chest. Lyon gets across the line. Brett Kimmorley says, boys, it's all right. We led by plenty. We took a chance. It didn't work out. Here they were. It was a set move, all right. I don't know if it was intended for Ben Barber or Lee Tamari on his outside, but it found Jamie Lyon instead.
And Orford gets an opportunity to increase Manly's scoreline, but it won't be enough.
No, he'll have the extra 2 from right in front here to make the difference once again what it was at half-time. It's 34 points to 12, and at Orford, I think they're swapping words with one or two of the Bulldogs as they made their way back up the field for the restart. You don't see him let players get under his skin all that often, do you, Matty Orford?
No, he's a cool customer, Orford. Had his best year last year. It was the Dally M Player of the Year. He'll be looking to repeat that. It hasn't started off on the right note for the Manly club, but I'm sure they will improve.
This will be the last play of the game. It'll go down to Michael Barney, who takes the kick off and brings it back out. And the Bulldogs, can you believe it, have beaten the Premiers 34 points to 12.
This has been a Fox Sports production for the National Rugby League Partnership.